Alright, so welcome to our Sheephead sculpting here, everybody. And you can see that I have our Basemesh loaded in here. Let's go ahead and load in our spotlight here. So we just need to select our Sheephead spotlight, and you can see that this comes in. Go ahead and hit Z on our keyboard so that we can turn our opacity down here. We'll just get this into place here. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and grab our move topological, making sure that our symmetry is activated here. Go ahead and just shape this a little bit better here, making sure that we have a relatively low intensity for our smooth brush. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and jump up a couple subdivision levels here to 3. And we'll just continue to manipulate our shape here. Definitely have to manipulate our side fin here just a little bit better, because I don't want it to be almost like he's streamlined here. I want to pull this out a little bit. Okay, we'll go ahead and smooth this. Just turn the intensity up here a little bit. Okay, and might just have to pull these in a little bit here. Okay, and maybe just pull the side up here just a little. And we can probably just make this a little bit fatter and taller. Okay, grab our inflate here, and we can probably take away a little bit here. Let's go ahead and maybe thicken up our stabilizer fins here. Okay, so we'll just use the same process here to create our gills and stuff. So let's just mask out an area where we want our gills to be. Okay, we'll go ahead and turn our image off. Again, just invert that mask. Go ahead and grab your clay brush. Just throw some clay on the model there. Go ahead and clear that mask. Okay, and you can see where I'm sort of getting a double fin. And I want to see if I can, or double gill, I'm sorry, see if we can actually work through where we can get that double gill to work for us. And that we sort of just lucked out to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead here and mask out that area first, that first one. Go ahead and push these in. Throw these basically into the model here. And you just want to try and, just try and give yourself a lot of freedom. Don't try and be so specific to what you're doing. You want to have a lot of creative freedom here. So go ahead and maybe invert that mask a little bit. Go ahead and pull that back. Okay. Let's go ahead and clear that mask. See if we can't mask that area out. Okay, let's see what happens if we pull this in here. Just need to push that into the model. Okay. Probably have to fatten that up with our inflate brush. Okay, so go ahead and clear the mask. Jump up a subdivision level. Oops, too much smooth there. Go ahead and smooth that out. And just take our move topological. Basically just push that into the model. And it sort of looks like he has like mutton chops. Okay, so at this point I'm going to go ahead here and retopologize this real quick. So I'll just go ahead and duplicate him, turn off our original, come down to our geometry tab, ZBrush. Let's see what will happen whenever I just hit the half here. And this will probably take a little bit of time to go ahead and kick through. Okay, so it's almost done here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our geometry. Definitely going to have to cut this in half one more time. Okay, and let's go ahead and do this again. Alright, so we can go ahead and sculpt on this. Before we do that though, let's see if we can't get a decent UV map for this, just in case we don't have to ZBrush again. You know, just using the same process here. I'm just going to throw it into roadkill real quick. Go ahead and just, you know, basically cut down the middle of the model, and you can see here where our UV isn't separated, and that's fine. I'll just go ahead and save that. Come in here to the subtool. We'll go ahead here and append a sphere 3D. Go ahead and import our Sheephead base. Going to throw this at the top of the stack here, and take our plugin UV master and unwrap it, and this will still give us a good ability to go ahead and add skills, just in case we don't do any ZBrushing. So we'll jump back up to subdivision level 3 for that one that we're going to cook over here. 3 or 4 for the one that we were sculpting on here. So we'll go ahead and just project it just to make sure that we get that detail. Okay, go ahead and turn that one off, and there you can see that we're getting some good detail, but we're minus the one gill, and that's fine. We can probably go ahead and add that if we needed to. So let's go ahead here, and at this point we need to, you know, refine that gill shape. So let's go ahead and just make sure that we have our symmetry on there. Go ahead and just mask out here. Okay, using our move topological, we'll push in. You can see that that gets pushed in, but not where I want it. Okay, go ahead and just move it up, invert it, and make sure that we push the main body of that gill in. Gonna have to use the inflate here and fatten that up a little bit. Okay, go ahead and clear that mask. Try and smooth there a little bit better. Okay, throw in our second gill here. Same process here. Okay, we'll go ahead here and fatten that up a little bit. Go ahead and smooth that out. And I think we should probably push that in a little bit more. Just using the smooth brush here, and I inflate brush to really fatten that up. Okay, so I'm just looking here to make sure that I have a shape that I'm going to be happy with. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring our image back, and we're going to work on our eyes here. And I'm just going to go ahead and mask the area where I want the eye. We'll invert that mask, and we'll go ahead and go back to our brush, miscellaneous, eye. Go ahead and drag that eye in. Okay, go ahead and take that mask off. Go ahead and shape our eye real quick. And this is just going to be a, same process as before, just rough shape it. Take our inflate Z sub and basically take the middle out here, just so we can append a polysphere here so we can make our eye. And we definitely need to go ahead and scale this down. And just try and get this into the right place. Okay, so I think that's going to be kind of neat. Maybe give us a sort of bug-eyed look. So let's go up here and grab our sheephead that we're sculpting on. Grab our clay, and we're going to try and fill this in here. Okay. Same with the under eye here. We're going to see if we can't fill this in a little bit. If you want, you can always jump up to subdivision level 4 here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and mask out an area where I want that main eyelid to be. Go ahead and just invert it, and we'll just inflate that out. Go back, use our clay, sculpt on the outside of the eye. Use our Damien standard brush here too to make sure that we get a good slice for where the eye is. And we'll just slowly work our way through here. Okay, we'll go ahead and take that mask off. And we definitely need to smooth that out there. Okay. And I think we're going to have to go ahead and push this top part of our eye up a little bit just to make it a little bit larger. If you do that, we'll definitely have to go ahead and push it in. Okay. You can always go ahead and grab our pinch brush to refine that shape a little bit more. Grab our standard brush, turn off the lazy mouse. Oh, that's way too intense. Okay, so there you can get your eye shape the way that you want. Go ahead and just jump up to subdivision level 5 here. And I'm just trying to really refine the eye shape into a shape that I'm going to be happy with. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that eye shape. And we'll just jump back to subdivision level 5 here. Go ahead and mask out an area for where we want our mouth. Okay, so we'll go ahead here and maybe make our draw size a little bit larger. And probably have to scale that down a little bit. Okay, go ahead and invert our mask there. Take our Damien standard. Just work on our shape for our mouth. Go ahead and pinch that together. Okay, so there you can see where we have our mouth shape in, and also our eye in. So let's go ahead and mirror that eye over. Z plugin, come down here to the subtool master. We'll just go ahead and mirror this in the x-axis and merge it into one subtool again. We'll go ahead here and jump up a couple different subdivision levels. 4 or 5 is typically good. And we'll go ahead and here and make our pupils. Go ahead and just alt drag. Okay, so I think that's looking good. They might be a little bit too large, so let's go ahead here and scale down a little bit. Okay. So I think that's looking okay. Jump back down here to our tool. Let's go ahead and delete these 2 meshes that we aren't going to be using anymore, just so we have a clean subtool menu there. And you can see that we're on subdivision level 5. At this point I think we're ready to go ahead and maybe throw in some scales here. So let's just block out and mask out where we don't want those scales to be. So the fin here in the back, the tail, the underfin there, and we can go ahead and slim that down once we go ahead and add our scales here. Let's go ahead and paint the mask out for this one. Just trying to make sure that I don't get any of the body there. So you definitely have to be a little bit careful. Let's go ahead, subdivision level 5 here. And actually I'm going to have to clear that mask out because I want to make sure that I add it on subdivision level 6. This way we really do capture all that detail from the scale. So we'll just go ahead and repaint out the mask, you know, real quick. And that's just a minor issue there. So go ahead and paint those out. Paint that out as well. Just making sure that we definitely get the bottom. Auto save there. Definitely an awesome feature that auto save is. Because if you have a crash, then it's going to save all of your scene information. Jump down to subdivision level 3. We'll go ahead and blur that mask out, invert it, blur it again, invert back to where our scales are going to be. Okay. Let's go ahead here to our surface noise. Let's go ahead and grab an alpha real quick. And let's see if this one will work. Take a look here. Those are actually pointing up and those are pointing down. So you can see that we have to change our UV real quick. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do, just to make sure that we get that done correctly, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Maya here. Just with the Go Z, and go ahead and pull that up, put window off screen there. Go ahead and let this load real quick. This just takes a second to go ahead and jump over to Maya. Okay. So let's go ahead and select our model. Take a look at our UV real quick. And you can see that that actually has done a fairly decent job of laying out our UVs. It definitely changes it a little bit. So maybe we should probably jump into roadkill real quick. So I'll just go ahead and close Maya here. Actually, I'll just cancel it and just jump back over to ZBrush real quick. And I will go ahead and throw this back out. And sometimes, like I said, you know, I mean, when you're recording here, you get a little bit errors, and that's okay. You make some mistakes, and that's why pencils have erasers. So let's go ahead and just UV model or UV map this real quick. And I'm just going to select E. I'm going to weld all this stuff back together. And just make a cut down the middle here again. And this is definitely where I'm going to have to see where that cut isn't actually being made, and it looks like it's these three. So go ahead and cut there. Okay, go ahead and weld those. And it looks like these ones are getting a little bit weird there. Okay, so I'll just reselect that and cut that edge. Go ahead and re-weld those. Go ahead and save that. And I'm just going to go ahead and append this into the Z tool here. Import our UV'd one, 2. And we want to jump up to subdivision level 6. I'm going to take that to the top of the stack, turn off the eyes, make sure that we're on subdivision level 6 for our one that we had our details on. Go ahead and select our UV model. Go ahead and project that at 0.1 again, so that it's really going to capture all that detail over. And that projection will just take a little bit of time to go ahead and do. Okay, so with that projection done, I'm going to go ahead and turn off that one that we were detailing. And now we have a solid UV here for our mesh. Let's go ahead and just repaint out our masked area. And I'm going to show you a mistake here, because when we go ahead and go to put our scales on here, they still aren't going to match, and you're going to see that we're definitely going to have to change it here. So I'm just doing this on purpose so that you guys can see the actual mistake here. Just paint this mask out real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead here into our surface menu. Let's go ahead and throw on some scales. And we're going to use that same scale map that we were using. Okay, turn the strength up here. Turn on our UVs. Scale it down a little bit. And you can see that the sides are a little bit off. Okay, so to match that, you would just have to jump back into Maya and rotate the one side 180 degrees different from the other side, just so that it's going to line up properly. And I'll just go ahead and scale these down and try and take that seam out here. So I think we're okay there. Go ahead and hit OK. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that to our mesh. Okay, and I also want to add another scale pattern on top of this one. So we'll go ahead and hit noise again, add it. And we're going to grab another different alpha here. And I think this time we'll go ahead and grab this 7693 one. Turn the strength up so we can see exactly where it's at. And we'll just turn it down a little bit to where we want here. Okay. Just trying to make sure that we don't get any seams there. Okay, maybe turn it up just a little bit more. And I'm just taking a look here, so I think that looks okay. And it looks fine. So let's go ahead and apply that to our mesh. And I'm going to go ahead and add one more pattern here, just so that we can really have some interesting effects. And let's see what this will do. Okay, so the strength here is way too heavy, so we definitely need to scale it down a little bit. And I'm not sure I really like that alpha, so maybe let's go ahead and change to another one. And we'll try this reptilian skin. Okay. And we just need to scale this up. And just turn the strength down. Okay, so there you can see that it's definitely a weird pattern. We'll go ahead and apply that to our mesh. And it just takes a second or two to calculate. Okay, let's go ahead and invert our mask here. And let's go ahead and sculpt our fins. And we're just going to use that same rake brush that we've been using, making sure that we definitely turn the intensity down here. And our symmetry is still activated, so let's go ahead and maybe turn that intensity down even more there. And we'll just slowly work through getting some detail here. Do our back fin here. Our tail fin. And you can see that I definitely take and layer that effect pretty heavily with multiple strokes. And we're going to have to thin this little bit of fin out a little bit, not too much. Okay, just jump back up here to 6. This just takes a second to calculate through. Get our side fins here. Okay. And I'm definitely going to have to zoom in here. try and smooth that out a little bit. Get the back side of it as well. Okay. Go ahead and grab an alpha for this. We'll use that alpha 58 again. And just turn our brush down a little bit. Maybe up the intensity just a little bit here. Just spend some extra time just drawing on some alphas here. And just work our way through here. Just continue throwing some alphas on our tail. Okay. So you have a lot of different variations for your fins. Okay, so I think we should probably detail that up just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and grab our standard brush. Leave that alpha 58 on. Spray it. Z sub. Let's go ahead and see what 6 will do here. Okay. Go ahead and throw those veins in there. And if you want, you can always go ahead and scale in and use your drag rect stroke. Just make sure that you go ahead and turn the intensity up this way that it'll come through, but in some cases you can see where that's going to be a little bit mismatching, so go ahead and just jump back a stroke there and go back to our spray and just throw in here. And we'll go ahead and throw this in for our tail as well. So with all those different variations, you can see where the fins really start to look good. Go ahead and throw these on here as well. Okay, let's go ahead and clear that mask off. And there's basically, you know, your sheephead model. I'll make sure that you guys do definitely get all of these Z tools. You can see that there's a little bit of a mismatch error there, so we can probably scratch that up a little bit. And if you want, maybe scratch the body a little bit to break it up, and maybe just do that on one side and not the other here. Just trying to add different patterns here. I don't want to throw in too much because I don't want to make it too busy. Okay, so there is our sheephead model. Hope you enjoyed watching lesson 3 here. And the next lesson we'll go ahead and come back and start on our next fish. So come on back.